Welcome to our deep dive. We're going to be talking all about building those healthy habits. And to get us started, we've pulled some super interesting info from three different sources: WebMD, the NIDDK, and Healthline. So we're covering all the bases.
It's amazing what you can find when you really dig into these resources, right?
Yeah, and I think our listeners are really going to appreciate that we're going beyond just, the basic tips. We want to get into like the why.
Sure.
Why do these habits actually work and how can you make them stick long term?
Totally. It's about understanding the science, but also making it practical for everyday life.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump right in. I think a lot of people want to know how to like maximize their energy throughout the day.
Oh, yeah. We all want to feel energized, right? And speaking of energy, did you know that WebMD actually found that people who eat breakfast tend to burn more calories throughout the day, like up to 20% more?
Wait, really? 20%?
Yeah.
That's huge. I guess that whole breakfast is the most important meal thing is actually true.
Seems like it. It's like you're kickstarting your metabolism right from the get-go.
Okay, but let's be real for a sec. Some mornings I can barely manage to like brush my teeth, let alone make a full breakfast.
I feel you. I'm not a morning person either. But the good news is, you don't need a gourmet spread to get those benefits. Even something small, like a granola bar, a piece of fruit.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel a lot better.
It's about consistency over complexity. Just getting something in your system can make a big difference.
Gotcha. And speaking of consistency, both WebMD and the NIDDK talk a lot about planning when it comes to healthy habits.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like, how does planning actually play out in real life?
Well, picture this. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're starving, and the vending machine is calling your name. But if you've planned ahead, you've got a healthy snack, like ready to go in your bag or the fridge.
Oh, that makes sense. So you're not as tempted to reach for the less healthy options.
Exactly. The NIDDK actually suggests making a list of like healthy foods you actually enjoy.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel like you're depriving yourself.
I like that. It's about finding those things that you're excited to eat. Okay, let's move on to something that I think we all know is important, but maybe don't always prioritize enough: hydration.
Oh, water. It's so basic, but it's so crucial for like everything, your energy, your skin, how your brain
For
works.
real, for real.
Yeah,
But I'll admit, plain water can get a little boring sometimes.
I get it. But WebMD has a great tip for that. They suggest adding some flavor to your water, like some fruit slices or cucumber.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I've done that before. It actually does make a big difference. Okay, now let's get to something I know you're passionate about: staying active.
Love it. And this is something that all three of our sources, WebMD, NIDDK, Healthline, they all agree on. Regular exercise is a must for good health.
Right. But it's not just about, like, looking good.
No way. It goes way beyond that. It's about reducing your risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, certain types of cancer. It's about boosting your mood, improving your sleep.
So many benefits. And speaking of sleep, I feel like when I exercise regularly, I actually sleep better. Is that a real thing?
It totally is. The research backs that up. In fact, Healthline recommends, let me see, 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity exercise each week for most adults.
Okay, so what exactly counts as moderate intensity?
Think brisk walking, maybe some light jogging or cycling. The key is you should be able to talk, but you're definitely breathing harder than normal.
Got it. And what if you're more into like really intense workouts?
For vigorous intensity, Healthline suggests aiming for at least 75 minutes per week.
Okay, so that's like running, swimming laps, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And then NIDDK makes a really good point. Exercise doesn't have to be a chore.
It's true.
Find something you genuinely enjoy, whether it's dancing, gardening, hiking, whatever gets you moving.
Love that. Now let's switch gears a bit. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with information, screen time, all that.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
So let's talk about the importance of unplugging and like exploring the world beyond our devices.
Couldn't agree more. WebMD actually recommends setting aside dedicated time each day to like disconnect from our devices and engage in other activities.
So it's not just about limiting screen time, but it's about replacing it with something more enriching.
Exactly. And for me, one of the most restorative things is getting out in nature.
Oh, I love that.
WebMD actually cites studies that show that walking in green spaces is like more calming for your mind and body than walking in urban areas.
I can totally see that. Even a short walk in the park can like totally reset my mood.
It's all about giving your mind a break from the constant stimulation.
I feel that. And WebMD also talks about how important it is to, never stop learning, like throughout your whole life.
Oh, yeah. Lifelong learning is key. And it's not just about like acquiring knowledge. It's about keeping your brain active and engaged, which
Yeah.
can actually help protect against cognitive decline.
Wow. So it's like a workout for your brain.
Exactly. And it can be anything. Learning a new language, picking up a musical instrument, taking a cooking class.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting so many ideas. What about you? Is there anything you've been wanting to learn?
Actually, funny you should ask.
Ooh, hold that thought. We got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more on building a healthier you.
I've been thinking about taking up pottery, actually.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. I
Yeah.
always wanted to try pottery.
It seems really therapeutic.
Totally.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so before we got sidetracked with all these awesome new hobbies we want to try, we were talking about unplugging and exploring.
Right, right.
And I think it's a good segue into our next topic, which is supplementation.
Okay.
A lot of people are curious about, like, multivitamins, whether they're actually worth taking.
Yeah, that's a great question. And Healthline suggests that multivitamins could be helpful if you think you might have some nutritional deficiencies.
So not necessarily for everyone, but potentially good for some people.
Right. And it's important to remember that the research on multivitamins is kind of mixed,
Right.
especially for people who are already healthy.
Makes sense. You should probably talk to your doctor before starting any new supplements.
Always a good idea.
Okay, now let's talk about another proactive step you can take for your health.
All right.
Regular checkups.
Oh, yeah, those are essential. Healthline really emphasizes that. Staying on top of screenings and checkups can help catch any potential problems early on.
It's all about prevention, right?
Exactly. And it's amazing how interconnected all of these healthy habits are.
Totally. Like I was saying earlier, when I exercise more, I sleep better. And did you know the NIDDK actually talks about how exercise and sleep work together to improve your overall health?
Yeah, they each benefit the other. Like regular physical activity can actually help you sleep better.
Wow, that's so interesting. It's like a positive feedback loop.
Right. And then when you get enough sleep, your body can recover better from exercise.
It's all connected.
It is.
But let's be real, sometimes it's hard to actually implement all of these healthy habits.
Oh, for sure.
What are some of the roadblocks that people face and how can we overcome them?
Well, one big one is time, right? People feel like they just don't have enough time for all this stuff.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
But the NIDDK has some good advice on that. It's about making healthy choices a priority even when you're busy.
Okay, so like what? Little changes here and there.
Yeah, exactly. Like taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or going for a quick walk during your lunch break.
I can do that.
Those small things can really add up over time.
What about the cost factor? Sometimes healthy habits seem expensive.
That's a common misconception. You don't need a fancy gym membership or a personal trainer to be healthy.
Right.
There are tons of free or low-cost ways to exercise, like walking, jogging, or following workout videos online.
True, true.
And cooking at home more often can save you a ton of money compared to eating out all the time.
Good point. Okay, but sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't even practical, it's mental.
Oh, absolutely.
Like feeling overwhelmed or discouraged when you're trying to make a change.
Yeah, that's totally normal.
How do you deal with that?
Well, the NIDDK talks about the importance of social support.
Okay.
Having friends, family, or even like an online community, that can be so helpful.
I can see that, like having people to cheer you on and hold you accountable.
Exactly. And it's also important to celebrate those wins along the way.
Even the small ones.
Yes. Any progress is worth celebrating.
But let's be honest, we're all human. We're all going to slip up sometimes.
That's inevitable.
What do our sources say about dealing with setbacks?
Well, the NIDDK has a really interesting perspective. They say that setbacks are actually opportunities to learn and grow.
Okay.
So instead of seeing them as failures, try to view them as like valuable feedback.
So it's about like adjusting your mindset.
Exactly. It's about being kind to yourself and not giving up just because you had a little stumble.
And Healthline reminds us that even when you've been doing well with your healthy habits for a while, it's important to stay vigilant,
Oh, yeah, life happens.
Things change. You have to be able to adapt.
Right, and it's all about finding that balance between consistency and flexibility.
As we've been talking about all this, I've been thinking a lot about the connection between physical health and mental health.
Yeah, they're so intertwined.
It's not just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind, too.
Absolutely. And a lot of the habits we've talked about, like exercise, sleep, mindfulness, They all have benefits for both your physical and mental well-being.
A holistic approach.
Exactly. And remember what WebMD said about learning new skills? That can be a great way to keep your mind sharp and engaged.
Right, like that mental workout we were talking about.
And spending time in nature, like we mentioned earlier, that can be incredibly restorative for your mental state.
Totally. Okay, but before we get too far down that rabbit hole, I want to circle back to something you said earlier.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned that you were thinking about learning a new skill. What was it again?
Oh, right. I was thinking about, learning how to play the piano.
Oh, wow, the piano. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've always loved listening to piano music, and I thought it would be really fun to actually learn how to play.
I bet it's challenging, though, right?
Oh, definitely. But that's part of the appeal, you know?
Totally. It's like a good challenge for your brain.
Exactly like that mental workout we were talking about.
And it kind of ties in with what WebMD was saying about lifelong learning,
Right.
keeping your brain sharp.
And it's creative, too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different healthy habits today,
Yeah, we have.
from eating breakfast to exercising to unplugging to learning new things.
It's been quite a deep dive.
It has, but I think the big question now is like, how do we actually put all this into practice?
That's the key, isn't it?
We can talk about it all day, but it's got to translate into real life.
Absolutely. And the NIDDK actually provides a really helpful framework for making those changes.
Oh, yeah. What's
They call it the 4 stages of behavior change.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So the first stage is contemplation.
Contemplation, all right. And that's basically about thinking about the changes you want to make and why you want to make them.
So like really getting clear on your motivation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The NIDDK even suggests making a list of the benefits and challenges of making the change.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It helps you weigh things out, you know?
Makes sense. Okay. So once you've done that, thinking what's next.
Well, then you move into the preparation stage.
Preparation.
This is where you start making actual plans.
So like getting specific.
Right. So, for example, let's say someone wants to start exercising more regularly.
Sure.
In the preparation stage, they might research different types of workouts. They might find a gym or a workout buddy.
Or maybe look up some online videos.
Yeah, exactly. And they'd also think about potential obstacles like not having enough time or bad weather and figure out how to deal with those.
It's like creating a roadmap for success.
I like that analogy.
And then once you have your plan, it's time for action.
Yep, that's stage 3.
Time to put those plans into motion.
And remember, it's about progress, not perfection.
Right. We're all going to have setbacks along the way.
The key is to just keep going
Don't give up.
and celebrate those wins no matter how small.
Love that. Okay, so you've contemplated, you've prepared, you've taken action now. What?
Now you're in the maintenance stage.
Maintenance. So this is like the long game.
Exactly. It's about making those healthy habits stick.
How do you do that?
Well, the NIDDK suggests finding ways to keep things interesting, you know?
So you don't get bored.
Right, and also being prepared to adapt when challenges come up, because they inevitably will.
Life happens.
It does. And you know, one of the biggest takeaways for me from all of this research is that mindset is everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If you believe you can make these changes, you're way more likely to succeed.
It's about having that positive self-talk.
Absolutely. And remembering that even small changes can make a big difference.
I love that. So as we wrap up our deep dive today, we want to leave you with a little challenge.
Okay.
What's one small step you can take today to improve your health and well-being?
It could be anything from drinking an extra glass of water to going for a 10-minute walk
To trying a new healthy recipe.
or signing up for that pottery class.
Exactly. Whatever feels doable for you, but something that will move you in the right direction.
We believe in you.
We do. And remember, healthy habits don't have to be a chore,
They can be fun.
and they can actually enhance your life in so many ways.
So get out there and start building those habits.
And until next time, stay curious and stay inspired.